everyone out there in Facebook land. I'm Chris Williams, and we're here in the Plaid Studios today with a very, very fun project ahead of us. You can see here we have a project that Donna Dewberry has painted for us. Let me introduce you to Donna Dewberry. She is the creator of the folk art one-stroke method of decorative painting, and we are thrilled to tell you about a brand new program that we have here at Plaid Crafts. It is an online educational program that is all about learning how to paint, and it's so much fun. Matter of fact, our name of the program is called Let's Paint. So what we're doing here at Let's Paint, and by the way, let me tell you that before we get too far into it, there is a website that I'd love for you all to come to. It's called plaidonline.com/Let's Paint. If you visit that website, you're going to learn everything you wanted to know about learning how to paint. There's all kinds of in-depth studio lessons, skill builders. We have some online paint night parties that you might enjoy painting, and I'm here with Donna Dewberry today. She's part of our Let's Paint program. She's teaching a flower every single month, and it is
all year long.
Yes, and it is the actual birth flower of every month. So we've already launched the program, and Donna has been sharing with you 3 video lessons so far, the first 3 months of the year: carnations, violets, and daffodils. Right. So today we're going to show you how to combine, kind of like a review of what you may have already seen.
All three.
We're going to show you how to paint all of these today. But before we get started, Donna, I would love for you to take a moment and share with everyone the 12 flowers that we're going to be teaching throughout the year.
Well, first of all, Chris, I want to tell everybody I am so lucky to be here in Plaid Studio and launching Let's Paint with One Stroke. How great is that? So I want to show you that here's the flowers some of you have already done with us. We have the carnation and the violets and then the daffodil, and that's what we're painting today. So hopefully some of you have already watched those. If not, go watch those lessons and then re-watch this lesson. All right, the next quarter we're doing the sweet pea and the lily of the valleys, which are really fun, and the peace rose. Then we're going to go into the larkspur and gladiolas, which are wonderful, and morning glories. And then the last quarter of the year, we're going to do the marigold, the chrysanthemums, and paper white. So how fun is that?
It sounds like a great year full of learning how to paint. Folk art one stroke.
That's right.
So while you are getting set up, Donna, and setting up your palette, I'd love to share with everyone, just to make it easy for those viewers at home. Remember, our video lessons are free with Donna, but if you would like to paint along in your home studio with us, Plaid has taken the ease and made it so easy for everyone. We have a kit assembled.
Look how pretty that is.
Yes, Donna's so proud of our label here because we are showing you a lot of the flowers that you are going to learn in this Learn to Paint program. With the folk art flower of the month, this kit is just jam-packed of everything you need.
So you can't show yet. I want to get the base coat in.
Let's do that. Okay.
Okay, so if you have questions, we want to hear them, because as I'm going, sometimes I don't cover something that you might want to know. So I have taken this sea sponge. It's a faux man-made sea sponge. So what's going to happen is going to give you this beautiful luscious look on the outside here. But do you see the glow underneath the flowers? I'm going for this glow underneath. So hopefully you've got a sponge you can get going, but you're going to really see in the kit this sponge is wonderful. So I'm going to take, I'm not going to dip this in water, I just put my fingers with water, and then I'm going to work it into that sponge, and look, we're going to do circular motions, and every single lesson I'm going to show you how to do a very quick and fun background, okay? And it will be really easy, remembering that the white is a color, okay? So see, I'm just doing circles, but it still gives you texture. And then I'm going to come to the edges. I also want you to do the outside edge, but because I don't want to be messy right now, I'm just going to show you that really quickly. I'm going to come in here and pick up the sap green. See how I rub it in? All right. So then we're going to come here for the edges. Let me see how I did that. Okay. It's noisy. There we go. All right,
So
Chris, you
that
can
was
go
just-
ahead while I'm
That
just...
was just a dampened sponge that you started with, Donna, and you loaded it first with citrus green. And we are using the Folk Art multi-surface paints today. These are so rich and creamy and just luscious paints to work with. And by the word multi-surface, that means you can paint on canvas like Donna's doing today.
Everything.
It's also on wood, on glass, on terracotta, paper mache, all kinds of surfaces, even fabric.
All right, so it's indoor and outdoor. It also has a sealer in it. So the beauty of doing our base backgrounds that we're going to do each month, what happens is when we let this sit and dry for a few minutes, if you stroke something that you don't like because it's got a sealer in it, you can take a wet paper towel and wipe it off. And so that's going to make painting easier for you. All right, so now see, this is what I want to do, guys. I want to take and keep sponging till you can see that I decided how far in I wanted to go. And see, as I'm pouncing that less as I get around the edges, it gives you that blend, really nice blend. What I don't want to see is polka dots. So we want to keep going till you get a blend. And you can get a little bit more citrus green and a little bit more sap green and do a better transition right here if I need to. See that? And I'm going to sit this and let this dry. I'm going to continue till I get this done and let this dry. And Chris is going to share the best part is this kit. Okay.
I'll be glad to, Donna. So Plaid has taken it and made it so easy for our viewers at home that want to paint around every single month with Donna's studio lessons. And we've come up with a kit. And this is the Let's Paint Flower of the Month Folk Art One Stroke Kit. So I'll open it up real quickly for you and I'll show you. And I know some of you have already ordered the kit and have it at home. I've seen pictures on Facebook.
I know,
haven't you,
me
Donna?
too. Yeah, unveiling.
When you receive your kit at home, the first thing you're going to see when you open it up is this really nice little welcome letter directly from Donna. And you'll also be inspired by some of the one-stroke flowers that you're going to get to paint along with Donna throughout the year. The back kind of gives you some information about Donna for those of you that might be very, very basic beginners and are not too familiar with the folk art one-stroke method. We're also going to give you some information about the website, and I want to remind you to go to that website. Again, that's that's plaidonline.com/let's paint. There you're going to find so much information about learning how to paint and all about getting your table set up and so on. And then we have a whole list of the contents that you're going to have in the kit. But this is one of the most fun things in the kit to me. This is an original, hand-painted.
I hand-painted everyone and signed everyone.
Made with love by Donna.
Yes.
And this is not just a black piece of paper. This is actually your storage folder, because when I open up our folder, hand-painted by Donna, you're going to find the reusable teaching guides in here. And what I have here for you is one for every single month. This happens to be May. We've already taken out, let me show you these, Donna, if I can borrow these for a moment. We've already taken out the first three that she's using today. January is Carnations, February is Violets, and March happens to be the Daffodil. But when you pull out your teaching guides, they're so fun. You're going to get a list of the colors and the brushes used, some information about the flower of the month, and maybe what that color means or what the flower symbolizes. These reusable teaching guides are all coded so they can be practiced on, used as a practice sheet, wiped away, and reused over and over again. This kind of gives you an example of what a finished carnation stem might look like. The back side is going to take you through step by step. These are Donna's actual strokes. You're going to practice your strokes directly on this guide. Wipe, remove the wet paint, and practice again over and over. I always say this is like Donna in a box. She's going to be right there with you at your table painting. The photo on the bottom here kind of gives you some inspiration, as we were talking about the paint earlier. It's perfect for wood, on glass, on ceramics, on tinware, and of course the canvas that we're doing today. So we're going to have 12 reusable teaching guides in this kit. You want those three back, Donna?
I do.
Okay.
Okay, let us know if you have questions, because we want your comments too. It's really important that we hear from you. And tell us what you like the most. You like comments for lots of reasons, don't you?
Oh, I sure do. And I'm going to talk about one of those in just a moment.
I know. Just hint, hint.
Let me finish telling you about what. You're also going to receive this beginner brush pack. This is the Folk Art One Stroke brush pack. And John, if you can show everybody up close, these are the 10 brushes that you're going to receive in this kit. These are brushes that were all designed specifically by Donna Dewberry for the Folk Art One Stroke method of painting. And so these are fabulous brushes. Whether you're a beginner or an experienced painter, you're going to really enjoy using these brushes. We've also included in the kit a really fun folk art home decor. This is a man-made faux sea sponge. Donna uses this a lot in her backgrounds like she just showed you. Every single month she's going to show you a new tip or technique on how to use this sponge to create a fun, different background. And the best part in here, you're going to get 12 different colors of folk art multi-surface paint and 1 bottle of floating medium. And I do want you all to comment throughout this whole entire Facebook Live lesson with Donna, because we're going to have a winner and we are going to give away 1 kit today. So be sure and make lots of comments, everyone. We love comments, don't we, Donna?
Yeah, so go ahead and order, because if you were the winner, we won't send you 2, right?
Yeah,
you want to go ahead and order because you don't want to be left out, right?
Right.
Right. Hand signed. And this is, while you're painting your buds, you can look really close at my strokes, not too close. Hopefully it's perfect enough that you're like pleased to have it. But I wanted a hand painted piece in every one, and Chris said, let's make it happen, right?
Most definitely.
Okay.
All right.
So can I go further now?
Yes, please do.
Okay, so I've got this all ready. Hopefully you guys can see that very clearly. And what we're doing now is we're going to lay out our design. So I turned it to an angle. You don't have to do yours at an angle. I'm a little bit brighter, but I think it's still going to be good than this was. But I want to take and lay out, I got some chalk here. This will really help you if you're working on yours at home. To lay out my design. Now the greens, oh, it's almost dry. Look at that, that's good. So I can put my stem here with just some regular chalk. And then I'm going to have my triangle of design. Do you see this? Am I right under there so they can see the finished piece? Okay, cool. So we have the triangle of, what are those? Carnations. All right, so I have a half carnation over here, so I'm just going to do an oval, a big carnation here, and another big carnation there. So if we lay out that first, it's going to help you know where to put the flowers. And I am going to start right in here and teach you how to do the daffodils first. Okay, right here, because I want you to see how the strokes work. Now you can trace it off the front of this sheet. Of course, that's not what we're doing together today. We're just going for it, right? But we're going to do stroke by stroke, and you can rewatch this. That's the good thing. You can just put it on again and rewatch it. Now what you see underneath here, it's all the green. So I'm going to put stems and a few leaves, which we're going to practice, all right? So you can come right on here and practice some of those strokes. Now I'm going to go over here and pick up this green if you don't have a double loader, and then I'm going to show you with a double loader. All right, so I'm going to pick up one color, take it to the second color, or put them next to each other. Now you dampen your brush first, lay it on the paper towel, go really fast. You think I want you to go really fast so you'll be fast? No, I want you to go really fast because it works it into the bristles.
And Donna, you're again using citrus green and sap green, aren't you?
I am. I forget to tell them, so thank you, Chris. All right, so then I want you to have an eraser, which is a little bit of a dampened paper towel. And because this has a sealer on the paper so that we can go over here and practice your worksheet. Practice, see the arrows show you which way to go and slide back. And I want you to come over here and just put your stroke there. See that, Chris? They can sit there and see if the shading's like they want it to be, all right?
Or like you're teaching them.
Yeah, so just like that. And like you can say, I want mine darker or lighter, but at least that gives you the start.
And for you beginners out there, let me just tell you, folk art one stroke, the method of one stroke painting, it really just means blending, shading, and highlighting all in one stroke of the brush. That's why it's so important that Donna wants to take the time to show you how she's properly loaded her brush.
All right, now look at my little finger. Ooh, I think from the lights here, I'm shaking. All right, I got a little teeny bit of medium here, so let me pick this up. All right, so I'm gonna come across here, and I'm going to put multiple stems. Now see this? Now when I'm doing this, watch this. I'm lifting the front edge slightly. My little finger's keeping me steady. And if you get really good at this, your little finger can be pulling the stroke, and your other hand here is just holding it steady. Okay, so I want you to see that, and then what I want you to see is outside, by drawing where those flowers are going to go, you can come in here and go, okay, I want one right there. Okay, so it comes out past the flower and still shows. Here's a stroke we just learned. Okay, so I want it to come out further than the flower. And then I just have a few where I'm sliding here. Now these are the ones you're going to go practice, but let me show you. I start on the chisel, I push down. That's why you're going to love my brushes. We start and end on every stroke. We start and end on this chisel edge of the brush. Okay, so let's come here. And you, with one stroke, the lane shading, the highlight that Chris was talking to you about, happens with pressure. If you don't push down, you don't get it. If you put pressure, look at the shading.
What a difference that makes, Donna.
Isn't that nice? Okay, so we're going to come over here. So hopefully y'all are busy watching is why you're not asking us questions, but remember, we're here for you. You have us live, so.
I'm just loving it.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's good stuff. I can't even say, I mean, everything's amazing. Everyone's excited what's in the kit and all your techniques, Donna.
And
thank you, and you're going to get
oh,
free lessons every month. How awesome is that?
it's like Donna in a box. It's Donna in your home studio. Donna at your kitchen table.
Yeah, yeah. And so at your leisure, I teach a lot of online classes, but on this one, at your leisure, you can put it on at any time and know that each quarter, each month, you're going to have all the different flowers. And guess what? See this lesson where I'm putting a few of them together? Chris has me scheduled that we can come out and do more with you during, I'm going to go to that palette next after we get these in here.
I think everyone would love to know how to use your double loader too.
Yep, that's what we're going to do next. So I'm getting my green in, and listen, you can add some green later. You practice on the guide. Here's the long slender leaves I was doing.
I was just going to show them too.
See these long slender leaves?
We need to go this way, Donna.
Yeah, okay, sorry.
This camera right here.
See that right there? The long slender ones on the back side we practice, but remember you can trace these out and they're the actual size you're going to put on your piece.
I'd like to show everyone at home one more time here.
Yeah.
So what Donna's kind of done is laid out all of the stem work of her flowers, and this rounded long blade flower was the daffodil that she showed you. These long slender ones are what you might find on a carnation.
Yeah.
And I think we did not include a violet leaf, but the violet leaves, as you can see here on this reusable teaching guide, are much shorter, smaller, and have more of a little scalloped edge to them. And again, on this particular reusable teaching guide, when you flip over to the back, Donna's going to teach you exactly, step by step by step, how to create that.
And even which number, that petal, then that petal, then that petal, and so you're going to build it just like I built it. So learning the stroke's easy if you learn how to load your brush. So let's go, Chris, and I want to show them loading. Now I just used off the background, yeah, and now we're going to come right here and let's show you how to use the palette.
Let's start real from the very beginning, Donna. Let's take the double loader out of the palette and show everyone that that's actually two separate products. That
I have a lid that goes on this double loader. So here's your double loader, and it comes with a lid for this so you can store it, a lid that goes on top that has a sponge in it, and you dampen the sponge, close the lid, close it on top of here, and the paint stays moist. Like I squirt it out and then I get called to go pick up the kids at school, and so I just don't want to waste all the paint, so you clip it on, and we've gone 30 days and it's still been moist. So then what I have,
we're going to hold that.
No, I'm going to put this inside.
No, you tell them about the palette.
I know, but I was going to say we put a foam plate in here if you want. Okay, so we can come in here and put that in there and pinch one corner, and there we have. Okay.
And what do you do with all these little holes
Okay,
here,
so
Donna?
what I do is you can put a color that you use a lot. So you might want to put a white in here or something that you're going to use frequently. But I put in these little pots right here, I put floating medium mostly. I put a little bit of water in some, only because we use water from script liners for inky. Then you accordion this in to our double loader here. I can't get to it, but I just accordion it in. And so then I have that in there, and if I'm standing at my easel, guys, you're gonna love that I made this lefty or righty so that it holds it what is that called? Ergonomically correct. But see, your fingers are right here. So when I have pressure on here, I used to do tight the foam plate and then my wrist would hurt. Well, there's no pressure on here. It works really good. Okay, so that's what we have here. Now I'm going to pinch and pull this out, and now I'm going to put in
the double loading
carousel. So I have this in here because it was shaking around on here.
We only did that to soften
we didn't make noise in front of you.
Yes.
So, and then you spin it around. Now the lid does not go on while it's in the double loader, okay? So what we want to do is put it in there so that we can have it stable and it won't move for you, and then you can stand at the easel. You got a question?
Donna, I would love for you to share with everyone too the method and how you loaded up your double loading carousel. Why did you put two colors next to each other or leave a space, or why are 4 colors next to each other? Let's tell everyone about the method, about how you loaded the double loading carousel.
That sounds good. So I have white, and then I pick out, I looked at my painting and decided the 2 colors I'm going to use with white most often. Then I have some red and yellow together, so I put those next to each other. So these are flower colors. I usually put the greens across from us, but I had a whole plate of greens, so I didn't want to waste it. Then I'm going to put some pink and purples, but I decided to put dioxazine purple.
What?
This kit has dioxazine purple.
No way!
And if you're out there been begging for it, Plaid, listen, I'm so happy.
We've been working hard on this one for y'all.
Then we have violet pansy, and then I'm just going to show you the color that I'm going to use. One thing I like to do is I like to pop this so the paint spreads. You see that? Just a little bit. And if it doesn't go to the edge, you can just scoot it over with your brush. Now, what you're going to do to double load, and this is really important, is when you pick up paint, you split the brush. Then I'm going to come over here and work it in really hard and fast. Now, do you see I'm not splitting the brush now? So that confuses people. They think I'm splitting it, but I'm not. See, I'm going right back to here.
Now tell us why you're doing it hard and fast,
Okay,
Donna.
so hard gets it into the bristles, because you guys out there say my brushes are splitting, but if this splits, it's got paint inside. So the paint holds it together.
It's all about properly loading that brush,
yeah,
isn't
so
it?
if you load the brush properly, what's going to happen is it's going to be ready for you and to get the blending and shading. Now, what I'm going to do at this point is I can dip if I need yellow and flatten it before I paint, or I can dip a little bit of white and flatten, because we're using smaller brushes. If I use my big 3/4, I'm in there a whole bunch, and I come back every stroke to get more paint. Okay, so let's look at this, guys. What we're going to do as we stroke here is we're going to come up here and we're going to have lots of white so that it really pops on here.
And it looks like you started on your chisel and you're ending on your chisel.
Oh, I didn't show them that. Let me show them that.
Okay.
I hope you're having a good time, because we're thrilled to be sharing this with you. On this, I put the yellow on the outside and the white on the inside, but I reversed it on here so it pops on this background. But this is the magic here. The magic is my load like I want it to be. Goodness. I'm shaking. It must be the heat. Now look at this. I'm just coming right back here to pick this up. All right. Now I'm going to come here and show you that we are doing a triangle. So we're going to come up here. 1, 2, 3. This petal that you're going to practice. Now I'm practicing upside down. This is what a lefty would do, from this side to that side. If you're right-handed, you're going to come on this side and then do down. Now, I want you to turn this around to be comfortable whenever you're doing the strokes. Then I want you to wipe it off, because this is multi-surface paint, which means it sticks to multiple surfaces. So if you don't wipe this off soon, it will adhere to this, and you have to scrub, and then it won't be smooth anymore. But the beauty of working on these guides is this is how it feels when you work with glass and ceramic or mirrors, non-porous surfaces feel just like that. So now we're going to do a triangle, and then we flip it around and we do a triangle in between each one of those petals. That's the secret to make this flower really fun. And I just want to share with you, one stroke painting is the easiest way to do flowers. Did you know that? Most techniques, now listen to this, most techniques out there, the painting flowers is the most difficult thing to paint. painting flowers. Do you believe that?
But that's probably the thing that most people want to learn how to paint, right?
Right. And most people come to my technique to learn flowers. So when they say, this is so funny in the beginning, I really worked till I got a rose that was really good, but it took me years to make a rose that looked like a rose. And people came in, and when I was all on TV and they could see it everywhere, they go, oh, I've got the rose. I want you to teach me a daisy or something. I'm like, what? Because they were able to have videos then and be able to see how to do this. Now you see my triangle? All right, so there we go. What's your favorite flower in this collection, Miss Chris?
You know, I think on this particular project where we're introducing the first 3 months of the year, I think my favorite happens to be the violets. And you know why?
Why?
Because there's dioxazine purple in the violets.
Some of you guys out there didn't know we finally got purple. So I'm also excited that we are going to be able to sell purple, but really exciting that you can get this kit with purple in it. A little bit later we'll share with you how you're going to get that kit right there. So look how fun that is. So now I'm going to go to the next part of this, and that is I'm doing a triangle usually of design, but what I did with this, you can do a triangle of 3 different kinds of flowers, or you can do, see I did all of these pink, so you can go by color or you can go by different flowers, like 3 different flowers. So I'm going to do this one, and the violets in the middle. Now this one over here is a side view. Now doing side views are really fun, and we don't have to worry as much about the triangle. But you're going to find out even with the gladiolas that the triangle is important. Now did you see how many times I went over that? 1, 2, 3. Did you want to share something with them, Chris?
I was just going to remind everybody to please, please, please make a comment as you're enjoying Donna and watching her today. All of these comments, all these names are going into a hat. We're all going to draw for one lucky prize winner. That winner is going to win one of our Folk Art One Stroke Let's Paint Flower of the Month kit.
With dioxazine purple and Prussian blue in the kit.
And original artwork by Donna, too.
Oh, yes, that's the best part. That's the best part. Okay, so that was pretty simple. Now I want to show you the next step. Oh, I'm pushing the table. I'm sorry. We're floating around here. We get really excited, don't we, Chris, about all the goodies that we've got and what we've got in store for you. And I have to tell you, we have a lot in store for you. I'm going to leave this there so y'all can see it better. All right, so I'm going to pick up red and pink. All right.
That looks like moon yellow and apple
now,
red.
Now show them the pack of the worksheet for this, if you would. All right, so what's going to happen here is that I then came and made this trumpet, and that trumpet goes just like that. Jeez Louise. I'm shaking, but there's nothing wrong with me. It's just
you're excited,
lamp. Yeah,
right?
The hot lamp here. Okay, so all right. So then, see this movement here? You got to practice this, guys. This right there, I'm reaching, but I think y'all can see, and that's going to come back here first.
So you're actually kind of making the trumpet. That's the center of the daffodil.
And then that one is the front. See how that is now? See how nice that is? And then it looks like you can see inside of it. And you saw how easy that was, seriously. That was easy. So let me show you
Let's
again.
show them on the original project too, what you're doing.
See, look how pretty.
We're doing this particular section right here where
yeah,
you're learning
see how you do this? Now this one you just see a round top, but this one you see the whole trumpet, so that's a side view. And when you can do side views, that means you're really talented.
And Donna, I believe we have a question.
All right.
We have a technical question from a couple people. They're asking about glass. So using the multi-surface on glass. So
okay.
It works wonderful.
We have a lot of education, but anything
Yes, I would be glad to tell them a little bit about painting on glass. The first thing we do when we paint glass is to make sure that your glass is thoroughly cleaned. And by that I mean go ahead and wash it with warm soapy water, dry it well, rinse it well, and then dry it well. Another tip is to take a wet paper towel that's moistened with rubbing alcohol, wipe over the entire glass surface first to make sure that you remove any extra dirt, grease, grime, or grit. And another key thing is to never have hand hand lotion on your hands. You want to have nice clean hands because you don't want to add any impurities back to the glass once you thoroughly clean the glass. The painting technique is exactly the same as what Donna's teaching us now. If you wanted to paint a daffodil on glass, the technique is exactly the same. But then when you're done with your project, you do need to let it dry completely overnight. I don't mean like paint it in the afternoon and then come back to it in the morning. It needs to be a full 24 hours. 24 hours later, you set that painted glass in a cool oven. What we're going to do is we're going to bake that paint onto the glass surface. And when I say cool oven, that does not mean preheating your oven. You set it in a cold oven, and then what we'll do is we'll set our oven temperature to 350 degrees, and we'll set the timer also for 30 minutes. So basically you're letting it bake at 350 for 30 minutes. Turn the oven off. Do not open your door. What you want to do is basically you're allowing that painted glass to heat up with the oven and cool down with the oven.
So go to bed and wake up the next morning, then you can open it up.
I was just going to say that. Sometimes after you're done with the cooking the dinner for the family and the kids are in bed, go ahead and put that painted glass in your cold oven, bake it for the 30 minutes, and turn the oven off and wait until the next morning, because you do want that oven to be completely cool before you get that painted glassware out. And then once you have your decorative painting on the glassware baked and cured to the glass, we do say just wait 72 hours before you wash it. And it is at that time top shelf dishwasher safe. But let me tell you, being a painter and an artist myself, if something is hand created, I like to hand wash it. So it just helps kind of prolong the life of that painted glassware.
Okay, one thing I wanted to share with you too about what Chris said is that what you need to do is I lost it. Oh, when you're putting the paint on glass, make sure you have a very good load. Many people do it very thin, so you want to put. We're rolling here. What you want to do is put a good coat of paint, and it will make a difference too on the appearance and the durableness of it. Now, see, I kind of messed up that by putting those little marks in there, but now I'm going to just come right back in and clean it up. So there's no mistakes. If you have something that you, like I put more red in there, and so when that dries some, I'm going to come back and ripple some white around it, but it was just too see-through because of the yellow paint underneath. Okay, so let's go to another flower.
Let's try some carnations.
Yeah, the carnation's next.
Carnation is the January flower of the month, and again, here's our reusable teaching guide that kind of gives you an example of what the finished carnation looks like.
Okay.
And let's show us how to load that brush then properly.
I'm going to pick up the two colors, kind of messy, really fast over here. Now look, too much white, and so I need to come over here and get a little bit more pink and work that in. So some colors, when I say double load, you need more pink than white, and you're going to see the blend, and I'll show you how you tell this. See that? I needed more pink than white, so I wanted little white edges.
And Donna's using a number 12 flat brush.
Right here. So I want that. Do you see how there's more dark and a little bit of white? Now the reason you want that, look why you want that. You want to see, and there's your first layer. When we put the second layer, if it's white, you're not going to see it. So now when I come on here and do the second layer of these petals, see, you can see that second layer. And this is how simple this is. It's like a zigzag. All right, so I want it stronger, white, and I just zigzag, okay, because carnation's petals look like that. So you're going to practice that stroke, you're going to do that first shell, then you're going to come in and do your second shell, all right, so it layers it, and you have these cute little buds. So look, you just pull those back, and then I can go get some fresh white and do a couple little ones on there. Okay.
Donna, for everyone at home, can you just show us right here on this clean area that little zigzaggy stroke that you were talking about?
Okay, so look, I'm going to come right here and I'm zigzagging the white. Because they are going to be frustrated if they didn't see.
Oh, we're welcome back. we found out we had a little glitch here. I guess we lost you for just a moment, but I'm glad you all joined us back. I'm here, Chris Williams at Plaid Studios, along with Donna Dewberry, and this is our Flower of the Month Let's Paint program. And Donna's been showing, if you're just joining us, I want you to be sure and comment because we're giving away a prize here at the end of the video today. But Donna's been sharing with us how to paint daffodils, and she's getting ready to show us how to paint a carnation.
Oh,
it's going to be so much fun, Donna.
I've got it messy because it was partly dry. but we were going to show you how we did these carnations. So let me go back on top of this, and I have a little trick to show you. I'm going to bring my palette over here because there's lots of little strokes here. So I have a little quick, look at this. I have a real quick trick. Do you like quick tricks? A lot of you say, oh, I love how you tell me. It's not cheating either. It's just making it simple for you. All right, so I only want to do one at a time because I want it to stay wet as I'm going back. Now look what I'm going to do here. Now what I was sharing with you earlier is that this is going to be more than half and half. What this is going to be is mostly pink and just one edge white. All right, now look what happens as we come here. We're going to go right on this edge, and remember the zigzag I was showing you, and I have to keep picking up white as we go around. Oops, now that's what you don't want. So I wipe the brush, and there's no wrong. We're just going to go and pick up more and then go see how I can clean that up. So now it's as easy as this whole entire flower. We're going to go around and just do the same stroke for the outside skirt. Now what I've been seeing is some beautiful paintings that you guys have been doing with this carnation. And I love that there's 3 different flowers, so that these 3 flowers are what you can go watch online on plaidonline.com/let's paint, and you can get this lesson and paint each one of these first and then rewatch this again. Okay, now this is the thing. See, I have one slanted here. The key as you're going around and doing these is they have to come straight out. Now, remember I said we want to have enough pink that when you come in here with row 2, you can still see the pretty little white edges, all right? So there we go. Now, Chris was telling you about the glass, and where's that gonna be so they can watch it again, Chris?
We are going to add to this post, or add a link in this post, I should say, when we're all done filming today, and we will lead you to a blog post that happened to be that I wrote that tells you step by step how to clean the glass, paint on the glass, cure the glass to bake it, and washing instructions. So that will all be added in a link at the end of this video to this post.
Thank you, Chris. That makes a big difference. All right, because some of those fine details, I do it automatically, and I don't end up telling you guys when I'm sharing it with you. So we need those details. She used to say Q&A, and what is that? I mean, I was like, FAQs?
FAQ,
and I'm like,
asked questions.
I know, I said, what are FAQs? I have no clue what that means.
Let's show everyone here on the finished sample too, a little close-up of the carnation exactly, so that we can kind of see and watch what Donna's doing. Can you see that there are multi-layers of all these individual little scallop, or not scallop, zigzaggy type strokes?
Yeah. Okay, now I waited because you weren't here to show you the center of the flower. I'm sorry, I'm right in front of the camera. Look, I'm going to now take and pull little strokes in the middle. See that? Now I can go down to a smaller brush even and do that, but that's how I wanted the inside of the carnation. I don't want it to look totally like daisies. I want it to look like a little petal all there. But now this is what's going to happen with this guy. Now what happens with him is he's a side view, all right? So I'm going to go back and make sure that those are zigzags. See, I got lazy, so now I have to come back in here and get that shape again. And if you look at a carnation and you look at a daisy, the strokes that we're going to show you look just like those strokes, all right? So let's come here. Now this is the second row. Now what's going to happen, if you looked at the guide, there is a little skirt and a calyx underneath that holds this flower together. And you guys have been doing a great job of putting those pictures online so we can see. You've been on my site, and now Plaid Facebook site, and it's a group, and you guys have been going on there and sharing. So I'm really proud of my one-strokers for doing that.
I'd love to invite at this time. This is a good time to invite everyone. If you're not familiar with the new Facebook group that Plaid's developed for our Let's Paint program, I invite you to come find us. It's called Let's Paint with Plaid, and there it's a whole community, a social community with information about everything there is to know about painting. And you're also, like Donna just mentioned, welcome to share with all of us your creations and how you enjoy working with folk art paint. Donna is teaching these. Many people have already, as she said, shown their examples of her Carnation class or maybe her Violet class. And it's fun to share your work with everyone else in the world.
And we like to hear your comments, so be sure that I'd like to hear, come on there guys for me and say, this is what I learned.
Come on!
Come on guys, let's do it.
Join the fun.
And
Laura Walker said that she thinks she mastered the Carnation last night.
All right!
I love that.
Now that makes me smile. Thank you so much for sharing that.
It's so fun.
And Carnation is not something you see me paint a lot of. So, but I've had to learn, because guess what? When I had my little shop, we would have husbands show up and say, it's my wife's birthday month and I want to have a pot painted with her flowers. And I'm like, I had to have a cheat sheet that told me what flowers were for what month. And so it's nice for greeting cards or for glass vases or clay pots.
And with this folk art multi-surface paint, it is clay pots, it's canvases, it's wood, it's terracotta, paper mache, greeting cards like Donna just mentioned. So many different things can be surfaces when we're using this paint.
Okay, so I know these little strokes are a little monotonous, but that gives you a chance to catch up. What I'd like you to do, now that you know the position, is at least do one with me. And then while I'm doing all three, you can get at least one done, and then you'll know how to do the others. Now what's going to happen, guys, is you can go back and watch this video, and you can stop it, this Facebook Live feed. You can stop it, get caught up with me, and then go back again and watch it some more after you paint the strokes. Because some people are saying, oh, I'm having a hard time staying up with you. So I just need to get it all in so you see me actually physically doing it. Now look, I can go back there and let's fix this flower. Now it's dry enough and I can get a better depth in there than I was having. So now let's put this back here. So we have red and yellow.
That's apple red and moon yellow.
Yeah, so look at that. And I can also touch a little white if I want the yellow to be brighter. See that? And now I'm going to paint from this cubby over and over and only get this new colors, excuse me, when I need them. Okay, now I'm sorry, I think I need to get a little bit more white, because what I want to do is ruffle, look at that, we ruffle the edges.
So pretty, Donna.
Thank you. All right, now also on this one, we put a little smile in the middle, so I can get one of, if you have this kit, you have all these little brushes, so we can get a smaller brush and we can pick up, what did I use? Green. Look at this. I can get a little, we always wet these brushes and dry them first, and I didn't do that. So I want a little bit of green, and what I wanted to do is, depending on which way you're going, so the trumpet's this way and this flower's this way. So if you're looking straight at it, the smile would be here and the stem would come right from here. So what I like to do afterwards is I put some pre-stems, and then I can come back and add a few more if I need to, because you want these flowers to be held onto here, okay? So you push and slide off of there. So I hope you're learning stuff.
I'm sure everyone is so enjoying watching you paint, Donna. I always say it's like magic falling off of Donna's paintbrush.
Well, and usually they say you go in the warp speed, you need to slow down. Okay, so now if I need medium, now don't think if you don't have this you're just stuck and you can't paint. Go ahead and use a paper or foam plate just so that you start painting, but go ahead and order your tools, because having your tools make a big difference. The brush basin, what this does is brush caddy. I don't need that. This brush caddy is what's going to keep your brushes nice, and then the double loader is going to help you load. So most people have any problems with their loading. And then we're going to have 1, 2, 3, the palette, okay? So now what I keep sliding over. So what I have here is this trumpet that you learned on the guide. Look at this. See that? That's it's the second stroke of a rosebud, right? So you scoop it down. I have 2 colors on my brush. See the blend? Now I want you to come in here, and they have little teeny leaves that are going to come up into the flower and grab the flower. So they're like little calyx. All right, there we go. All right, so I can clean this back up a little bit. It's kind of like when I make a pineapple. All right, so now we have all that. And what did I put in the middle of here? I put some little stamens in the middle of this guy. All right, so now all we have to do is put our pretty little violets. I also have a little trick I want to show you before I put too many flowers here. And
while Donna's getting her brush ready, let me just take a moment. When Donna was talking about medium a few moments ago, this is Folk Art's floating medium. And this is what Donna uses often to help that paint reach that buttery-like consistency where it will just flow from her brush onto a surface.
And no water.
And that is exactly what was in the middle section of her
Yeah, I put it right
carousel.
in here because I don't like it to run all over, so I can just dip in there and grab it. Now look at this. I've gone into water 3 times with this script liner, and this ends up being like a fountain pen. So you roll it with lots of paint, and then we can do all kinds of wonderful things with this. Now, if you're out there and you go, my leaf does not look like Donna's leaf, I have a little trick that you can go on the outside edge and clean it up. How cool is that? Any little dry area that you're not happy with, you can lay it down and clean it up. And also, you might just want it to stand out because it looks like the color underneath. So I just want to share with that you can do that, and that makes it really easy too. All right, so this is the brush that I'm going to go do with white. Let's get some white. Make it inky on the white again. Roll it. I have water in that. I'm going to lay that brush on the paper towel to get the water out. Now look what's going to happen here. And they come out of here too, the stamens. But I'm going to touch and pull and pull these little guys right in. And then I just take the bright yellow and dot the tips. Okay, those are the little stamens. See, they're easy. And I put some of those coming out of here too, all right, out of the side one. And what I would do on this, look at this. See that petal's disappearing? Look what I can do. I can come pick up the white, and I can stroke with this little liner because I want that white to stand out. Look how good that looks.
Someone has a question.
Okay.
Laura, do you add the medium to the paint or just to the brush?
Okay, the bottle says, because this Miss Priscilla Hauser created this, so the bottle says that you load the brush first. With one stroke, I load the brush with paint and then go into the medium because we just want it to move smoother, and it gives it that yummy, I'll show you how to do it. It gives you that yummy, soft, moving easier.
Like butter.
Yeah, like butter.
Like melted butter.
Okay, so here's our dioxazine purple. I want you to see the difference.
Look at that rich, deep color.
So this is our Pansy, which has been our darkest, and now look how good and luscious that dioxazine purple is. All right, now you get a bottle of that and a bottle of Prussian blue, and you're going to fall in love with those 2 colors if you've never used them before.
And one each of those 2 colors, brand spanking new. The only place you can get those colors right now
is right there.
Is in our Let's Paint kit.
Okay, so now I have, this is violet, has some pretty little pinks in it. So what I did was violet, on the violet pansy side, I grabbed a little white, did y'all see that? And I worked it in, and then I have the dark dioxazine purple. Now this is multi-loading, so what I'm gonna do is touch the pink, the magenta. And look how pretty that color is. Now that's what we're gonna do. Now we practiced on here, so let's look what we're gonna do. I'm gonna come on here, and that's the same color, but I put a little bit more magenta, so you're gonna learn.
So everyone can see.
Yeah, let's do it over here.
There we go.
So we're gonna go from here over, but I'm upside down, so I'm gonna go here and follow, and it's like a teardrop. It comes right back. So right around, and then as you're doing these, it shows you 1, 2, 3, and so you just go around until you have 5 petals. All right, and wipe that off and start again. So I'm going to come back over here. Now these, I don't want these with the violets. I want them to be a little bit looser. So I came in here, what did I do? Okay, I came in here and I had a couple of buds. So the bud that you practice on your guide is this little push and lift. See this little bud, they all come to one spot. Then I'm going to come over here and do these little, these are what I call filler flowers. So now this is what you're going to do. You're going to pick your flower, pick your leaf is what I did. So I left out the violet leaves. and then pick your filler. So I decided the filler was going to be, excuse me, the violets. Now this is pretty big, so I've been all day today painting flowers that are very large. So that's a little bit larger than I want it to be if you look close at these violets. All right, so look how they're, see right here, they're more compact and they're not open so much. So I'm going to come back in with this smaller brush. Let's go down from a 12 to a 10, or you might go to an 8, but it's always easier to paint with a larger brush than you feel comfortable with, because that you'll get in the habit of using the right size brush to get you your best strokes, okay? All right, now let me show you this. So I'm going to overlap this, and I'm going to have it just a little bit smaller, and then it's going to give you, oops, sorry. It's going to give you the color you want. I went right in front of you. All right, there you go. So I hope you like our lesson today. I hope you like being with us and painting with us and getting Chris's knowledge and me sharing my project of the day. And we want to do this during the year when we have some florals that we can put all together and share those with you, right, Chris?
That's right. And you know what? Like we've been telling you, every single month, Donna's going to be here in our studio. We will release a monthly flower of the month. So next month is April, and we will be releasing a video, and Donna's going to teach us step by step and make it so easy so that we all learn how to paint sweet peas.
Oh, in April, y'all be looking for the sweet peas.
That's right. And in May, we're going to learn Lily of the Valley, and June is our Peace Rose. And do you know what? I invite you all to come back at the end of June, and we will do another quarterly Facebook Live where we will do another project and show you how to create a brand new design incorporating all 3 of those quarters flowers.
Okay, so little flowers take constant, just like the carnation. The large petals are easier and faster, but these little ones make it so yummy. Now this is more of a vintage kind of romantic look. Now what I did was I put this so tight I can't really put any violets in there, so I might come to another location than I did in my original. All right, and the other thing is you can overlap your flowers a little bit, and people are afraid when they're new. Oops, I keep doing that to you, I'm sorry. All right, so it's we're going to come right in here. See, I keep picking up a little bit of white, or you can put a little bit more magenta. All right, and also let's do, see, I did a half one here. Let me show you how I did a half one. So I do this, just the same petals but 3, and then I'm going to pick up a little bit of brighter white, and we're going to come right in here. So please tell your friends and share with them our Facebook Live class that we just did, and so that they will watch and join us too. That's what we want to do, is get one stroke out there more and more and more. And Chris shared with you what's in the kit, and you don't want to be without the kit because we're going to be painting with this kit all year long. And so you will have everything. Keep it in a nice little box. You'll have everything that you need each lesson. You'll have all the brushes, all the paint colors. Let's look at them. 12 colors. Look how great that is. And every class I use that sponge. And you have the medium. You have all the brushes, all sizes that I use. You have all the flower colors. You have all the leaf colors to make it a unique, pretty piece. And we do all the seasons. So when you're down to the end of the year, you even have fall flowers and even a paper white for the Christmas season. You can do a beautiful painting with that. And I don't know if you noticed, but can y'all see the gallery in the back here? Look at the gallery back there. That's Chris's idea, is to put the whole gallery of what we painted, and we frame them all. Now these are 12 by 12 squares, but look how fun they end up being and we even did all these at an angle to show you a different view of it. All right, so now you saw me do this. We did it pretty quick. We're gonna put little teeny curls in here and some little dots, but that was pretty fast. I know that I probably moved a little bit faster than you could. I know last time I did pumpkins, you guys were staying up with me, but we have a lot more little strokes here. All right, so I'm going to take my little finger and I'm going to tap, 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 okay, with that. And then I brought in a little bit of that bright green or white, okay. Now this is the key. You've got to make all of these little buds attach. So I will take and strike this brush through the dark green and the citrus green. So sap and citrus green. I'm going to grab these little buds and pull them in because you don't want them just floating out there. All right, so you grab those, you dot all the centers. These that are in here, we don't have to grab them. You can't see where they're coming from, so that's good. And then we finish up, and the best part of the painting is that you sign it with pride. All right, now the best thing for me ever is for you to post what you paint. All right, so I have to tell you, when we did pumpkins, the next day there were like 50 paintings of pumpkins. I was so happy. And y'all did blue pumpkins, you did all kinds of pumpkins with sunflowers. Well, I'm challenging you. I know it might not be on tomorrow, but I want you to get them on there so we can show Plaid that you're happy with One Stroke and you're thrilled with this new program, Flowers of the Month. They are working with me all year long to give you something wonderful every single month for free. How good is that? Free. And if you go online, listen, Andy Jones, he is amazing. I just stand and look at his work and say, Andy, I want to paint like that. And he said, I'm going to do all these little skill builders. He's doing just animal eyes and just their noses and just their fur and different little tips and techniques that are going to make us all better painters. Just watching Andy, he goes, I thought everybody knew how to base coat. And I said, maybe not like you. And so my base coating is different, but we learn from everybody. And Priscilla Hauser's going to be on. And all of this Let's Paint program is, I get chill bumps when I think about it, because this is a whole library of wonderful artists, of wonderful techniques, and Donna Dewberry is honored to be included. And you can go on this Let's Paint site on plaidonline.com and just go on there. Hey, listen, Kira and some of the other artists here develop wonderful, fun projects every month, so we have your own painting party. So this is what I tell you to do. Get your friends to sit together, say everybody comes over, and you guys who are teaching, get 5 or 6 of them in the room and sit and watch the painting parties with Plaid, which is Let's Paint Live.
Yes, you got it right. We've been practicing this morning. As Donna's been saying, I would invite you to please go to the website. Again, it's plaidonline.com/Let's Paint. And if once you land on that landing page, you will learn everything you want to know about learning how to paint. And again, I'd like to invite you to join our Facebook group too, please. It's Let's Paint with Plaid. That's a wonderful social community to be able to share your work. You'll be able to see all of our work and keep abreast of what we're doing. You'll know when all of the classes are in session, and you won't want to miss a single one.
And you'll also know when Chris's birthday is. My husband went on and said it was Chris's birthday, but they thought it was her birthday on Monday. Then they thought it was Tuesday, but guess what?
It's been a birthday
Saturday. Yeah. But Let's Paint. Everybody's sharing it, so that's awesome.
And before we say goodbye, too, I want to remind you, please, everyone, make your comment if you haven't already, because you do not want to miss the chance to be able to win one of our Let's Paint Folk Art One Stroke Flower of the Month kits.
When are you going to tell them the winner?
We will announce the winner in the comments below.
Oh, awesome.
After the video has been aired.
So I gave you some jobs to do, all right? But they're fun jobs. The jobs I gave you to do, the task I want you to go do is watch January, February, and March, Let's Paint with Donna Dewberry Flower of the Month. Then rewatch this and paint these with me. And then what's the last thing I told you to do? I want you to come on and share it on the Let's Paint site. So I want Plaid to know that you love One Stroke, that you love Folk Art Multi-Surface Paint, that you love our guides and our kit, and you love everything that we've got for you. And Dioxazine Purple is back. Woo!
Any last minute questions before we
No, we're talking too much. We told them everything they ever wanted
Donna,
to know.
I thank you so much for being with us
Chris.
today in the studio, and I thank everyone out there in Facebook land for watching us. Be sure and tune in for our next one at the end of June. That will be the end of June. That will be
right before my convention. And the best part is that I'm not having to do this by myself. I do my lives at home after these guys taught me how to do lives. And this is so much fun with Chris as a companion right here helping me.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed it, and we sure appreciate you following us.
Okay, thank you guys.
Bye.